Rishi Sunak has been under pressure to launch an ethics probe over Sala Braverman's speeding row. The Home Secretary reportedly asked civil servants to help her arrange a one-on-one driving awareness course after she was caught speeding last summer. This would have allowed her to avoid points on her license and a fine. However, civil servants refused the request and reported the matter to the Cabinet Office. Braverman then turned to a political aide to try to secure the course without revealing her identity, but this was also unsuccessful. She eventually paid the fine and accepted 3 penalty points on her license. Sunak defended Braverman after the allegations surfaced, saying she had expressed regret, accepted the penalty and paid the fine. He ignored questions about whether he should order an ethics inquiry into Braverman's conduct, and stopped short of saying he had full confidence in her. He appeared irritated to be asked about the case during a press conference at the G7 summit in Japan, and avoided further questions from other broadcasters. Sunak's defense of Braverman suggests that he values her loyalty and support over her ethical conduct. Braverman is a prominent figure among the ruling Conservative Party's populist right, and she backed Sunak in the recent Tory leadership contest. She was also reappointed as Home Secretary by Sunak days after she quit over data breaches. She had sent an official document from her personal email to a fellow MP, which was a breach of ministerial rules. Sunak's policy on speeding fines could prevent a stab at leadership because it shows that he is willing to overlook serious misconduct by his allies, and that he is not committed to integrity, professionalism and accountability. This could damage his reputation and credibility among the public and his party, and make him vulnerable to criticism and challenge from his rivals. The Home Secretary Sala Braverman is facing a political storm over her alleged attempt to avoid a speeding fine. She reportedly asked civil servants and a political aide to help her arrange a one-to-one driving awareness course instead of attending a group session or an online course with other drivers. This would have allowed her to escape points on her license and keep her identity hidden. However, her requests were refused and she eventually paid the fine and accepted 3 penalty points. This incident could damage her reputation and credibility as the Home Secretary, who is responsible for upholding the law and ensuring public safety. It could also raise questions about whether she breached the ministerial code, which requires ministers to act with integrity and honesty. The code states that ministers must not ask civil servants to act in any way that would conflict with their obligations under it. The Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is under pressure to launch an ethics probe into Braverman's conduct and consult his independent advisor on ministerial interests, Sir Laurie Magnus. Sunak has defended Braverman, saying she has expressed regret, accepted the penalty and paid the fine. However, he has not said whether he has full confidence in her or whether he will order an inquiry. Braverman's speeding row could also affect Sunak's chances of becoming the next Prime Minister, as she is seen as one of his allies and supporters in the cabinet. Sunak is widely regarded as the front-runner to succeed him, but he faces challenges from other potential rivals such as Liz Truss, Michael Gove and Sajid Javid. If Braverman is forced to resign or loses public trust, it could weaken Sunak's position and damage his image as a leader who can restore trust and integrity in government after the scandals of his predecessor. Braverman's speeding fine incident could also coincide with a difficult week for her on immigration policy, as new figures are expected to show a rise in asylum seekers crossing the channel. Braverman has faced criticism for her hardline approach to immigration and asylum, which has been accused of being ineffective, inhumane and unlawful by some campaigners and lawyers. She has also clashed with some of her cabinet colleagues over her plans to reform the asylum system and introduce new legislation to deter illegal immigration. Braverman's speeding fine incident could therefore have serious consequences for her career, her department and her party. It could undermine her authority as the Home Secretary, expose her to accusations of hypocrisy and misconduct, and trigger an ethics investigation that could end in her resignation. It could also harm Sunak's prospects of becoming the next Prime Minister, as he may have to distance himself from one of his key allies or face questions about his judgment and loyalty. It could also distract from his agenda of leading the country's recovery from the pandemic and delivering on his promises of leveling up.